an incredible matchup coming to you. We have, first of all, let's get straight into it, Zach Bivens representing the USA, North American Championship top 8. His favorite deck is Amethyst Steel, and he enjoys the odd skydive here or there.
He's going to jump right into the he's going to jump right into the game right now. And I think this player is incredible. He is a fan favorite, but he is not alone. He will be locked in and engaged with none other than, you know him, you love him, Mr. Mo Shamblin. Mo Shamblin. He had an incredible story to tell coming in, starting this tournament 0-2, Baker. A lot of people would get so discouraged and give up, but guess what? This Illuminator fought hard, rallied strong, and made it all the way to the top 8. And I think this is going to be another incredible matchup. I know you're all in on the Europeans. We had 5. Americans, we only had 3, and they are 2 of them facing each other together right now. And I think that is just a little bit sad for me, but I think it's going to be a great matchup.
Oh, as long as we see some good Lorcana, then I'm going to be a happy villain. But yeah, shout out to Mo. A poor start, but got some incomparable advice from his wonderful wife. Stop losing.
There it is. It's that easy, Baker. Just stop losing.
It really is.
And I'm telling you right now, these players are incredibly talented Illuminaires. As we know, you have to be incredibly talented to be in this position. But other than that, Baker, they're both 2 family men.
Absolutely.
I think that is incredible. Disney Lorcana is a family game, a family-first game.
Right.
So both of these gentlemen are husbands and fathers and children. They have their children running around the lobby. Their wives are here. And I got a little funny story to tell about Mr. Bibbs. I'm sure he's going to appreciate this.
All right, let's hear it.
Shortly after he won his top 8 match, okay? Like right after, moments later, he's in the restroom doing his thing. But he's on daddy duty. He is changing diapers right after he leaves the stage. He's unmiked, getting over there doing his thing. So that was really incredible to see. And it kind of reminded me that this thing is all about family.
Absolutely.
Okay, family.
It's all about family. I love it. No, that's wonderful to hear. But here, straight away, we have our bench phase. Straight away, I saw Emerald Amber being benched on one side. We'll get confirmation on what that other bench was in just a moment. And now the players are going to be selecting. Oh, so okay. So Amber Steel has been banned over on Mo's side, and Emerald Sapphire bench for Zach Bivens. And now they're going to be selecting which deck they play game 1.
You know what, Baker? So there is a chance. In the quarterfinals of the World Championship, we're getting Amber Ruby. Who had that on their bingo card? We're going to get some Amber Ruby.
I've been waiting all weekend. As soon as the deck lists were locked in and public, I was like, right, Bivens, please, what are you playing? Please tell me. I know that you're great with Amber Steel. I know you're great with Amethyst Steel. It was like, no, Amber Ruby is the way to go. And this deck list looks absolutely disgusting in the best possible way. And we are going to be seeing the Amber Ruby deck, JD.
I'm ready
starting things off. Oh, gas, no brakes.
Let's go. Keep it locked. Don't touch that dial. But Mo Shamblin is going to lead off with his patent-pending Amethyst and Emerald strategy. I mean, this is the deck that he plays the very best. This is the deck that he qualified on. This is the deck that he's topped several other events of large scale and high competition with this strategy. So seeing him start this thing off on the draw, he is going to be very comfortable with this deck. I think he has probably the most reps on the strategy. But how many reps have you put in versus Ruby Amber? That's the question you have to ask yourself. What lines of play? I don't know how many reps, because you didn't think you were going to be facing this, but that's going to be an interesting thing we're going to watch out for.
And the specific build of Amber Ruby as well, because we're waiting on the deck list at the moment, but from my recollection of taking a look at the list, this isn't the Mufasa build.
No.
This isn't a racer. As much as I've been hoping for racers over the weekend, I've been denied. But I tell you, it absolutely is all gas, no brakes. Incredibly aggressive strategy. We're just working on getting those deck lists. But what I think is really interesting here, JD, both players getting to play their favorite deck here. It's on the table. You love to see it.
I can't say it better myself. And if you guys like Glimmer's questing, okay? If you like characters getting exerted, if you like Minnie Mouse Bodyguard, tune in. Okay,
08.
08 is in the building right now, loose and active, as we're getting a nice little pile shake up there as Mr. Piven with the patent pending white sleeve. Mo Shamblin still hanging on to those green. I like that, a little bit of green here in the top 8.
Absolutely. While they're doing that, shall we just peruse these deck lists a little bit and try and give the people some information? I'll start off with Mo, and then you can talk us through the Zach Bivens list. So Mo on Emerald Amethyst to start things off here. We do see 2 copies of Put 'Em Together, and what do you got?
Ooh.
Bibbidi bobbidi. I put JD on the spot there.
You got me. You didn't sing it, that's why.
Fair enough. All right. I'll let you off. I'll let you off.
Okay,
Two copies of Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, which is a really interesting song where you can return a character from your from the board back to your hand, and then play a character of the same cost or less for free. And worth noting, it can be that same character that you just picked up. As soon as it's in your hand, it's considered hidden information. So you can put it back down, and there are plenty of cards in this deck list that have on-play abilities. I'll give you some examples. We've got Chip Quick Thinker for some discard. We've got the Lucky Cricket Cricky to give +3 strength to all of our characters. We've got Ursula 2-drop to snipe some extra songs. We've got Merlin Crab to give Challenger 3. And a very dangerous one, JD. Go to Margot to have a burst of lore if there's a character on board. Like that mini we were talking about.
Absolutely.
That 0-8 mini, we could get a 7 lore burst from a Go-Go. Definitely something that we're going to have to keep our eye on. But what's going on?
And just like that, you said that Go-Go might be the card that Mr. Bivens is going to have to look out for, because there are a lot of well-statted, high willpower characters. We have 4 copies of the Prince. Vigilant Suitor is in the deck. He is a bodyguard. So what this deck is trying to do, you're trying to get those glimmers onto the field of play as quickly as possible. You're trying to get them things exerted as quickly as possible and slap down a big bodyguard to protect your characters, and then continue to quest aggressively until the opponent admits defeat. I think that is the plan. That's what you want to do on the play, too. So this is going to be an uphill battle for Mo right now, and he's going to have to overcome some serious obstacles.
It will, and the last card I want to draw attention to in this deck that also can be aided by Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, I call it the dirtiest card in the game, Lucifer Cunning Cat.
Man.
Forces the opponent to discard either 2 cards or 1 action, but you're going to take us through Bivens' deck list, and are there many actions?
By my count, I'm looking at it, and as I can see, there are 0. Zero.
So we will always have to discard 2 cards, is what you're telling me.
Absolutely, but that's the thing. Lucifer does cost 5. So how many cards will Bivens have in hand? He does have that lady in hand that can add another character to the board.
Absolutely.
So he could be completely top decking, or the game could be over before Lucifer even gets to the field of play.
Sure.
So that is something that we're going to have to look out for. The players are just there. I know that they're very good sports. They know each other very well. There's no bitterness. There's no ill will. Look at that golden Mickey shining. I'd be so nervous, baby.
Well, it's funny, actually, because Liam told me a very good bit of information just before this match, where he was having a chat with Bivens, and just before this match was like, are you nervous? And Bivens responded, I'm probably paraphrasing, but the essence of it was, I have played 80 hours of Lorcana every week for X amount of time. I am more prepped than I could possibly be. Why would I be nervous? Even if I lose, I did everything that I could possibly do. But here we go, the opening hands, and I want to draw attention, JD, to the Simba in this deck. Ruby Amber. No, it is not the Amber Legendary 5-cost Bloodborne, which has just been confirmed to be one of the promos for the next DLC promo. Isn't that beautiful?
It's so gorgeous.
But we instead have the 2-cost Uningable Quest for 1, count them 2, count them 3, JD.
Look at that. And that's the first time I think this character has probably been in a tournament. I haven't seen that thing in the topping list in so long, and it's going to get his debut here. That's why I really love this triple deck constructed format, because it allows you to play some really cool things. As that hand looked really good, I'm glad we have an alter phase in this game.
Yeah, 100%. That looks like we're going to have early access to that Diablo shift. I'll be interested. Who is the higher seed here? I'm sure we get confirmation.
I believe it's going to be Mr. Bivens.
Bivens is second seed. Yeah, Bivens. So Bivens will absolutely be going first. And are there many evasive answers? What answers are there to this Diablo in the deck?
I don't think he's trying to answer anything. I think he's just trying to get these bad boys onto the field of play and get them exerted as soon as possible.
All questions, no answers.
All questing, no answers. Okay, this is going to be, like you said, all gas, no brakes. Okay, I honestly do not think that there is a way to clear a established Diablo.
All right. So Mo's going to be drawing a lot of cards if he can establish that, not to mention the Prince Johns that are in Mo's list that can combine with the discard. However, I would assume that the Amber Ruby deck is going to play out as much of its hand as possible. Are there Rapunzels in the list?
There are Rapunzels in the list. So he can heal some of these big, well-statted bodyguards to probably help protect him from an instant go-going. But I think right now Mo has to try to figure out a way to stabilize this game state. Stabilize and then turn the corner is going to be the name of this, especially being on the draw. Can he do it in time?
Who can be the aggressor in this situation? But we are off to the races. Daisy Duck was a turn 1 play. A Diablo thrown down by Mo in response, and then that Daisy's going to go on a quest, and it does reveal the greediest of them all, JD, going to be added to Mo Shamblin's hand as a result of that quest. We do have a LeFou in hand as well, which is super interesting to protect our characters, especially that Simba that only has a 1/1 stat line but quest for 3, and a Super Goof, the Super Peanut powers, JD.
That Super Goof, it can do a lot of work, as Mo in the early turns does have a lot of lower willpower characters. You can get that Super Goof in, get that residual lore. Also, while while maintaining the board a little bit. So Mo has to be careful of that 4-ink turn as Super Goofy come out. But that Daisy Duck, there are a lot of characters in Mo Shamblin's deck. So every time you quest, you will be given some advantage. You will be given the Go-Go's. You will be given those Diablos. You will be, continuing to fuel the operation. I can't tell. Are there foxes in there?
There are 0 foxes in this deck list. There are just 2 copies of Merlin Crab, and we do also have 4 copies of Elsa the Fifth Spirit. Confirmed to be a future promo card. We got that Lilo gift set not too long ago, and now we're going to be getting one for Elsa in the future, so that's super cool. But this Elsa could be really good in this match to obviously exert down these Simbas and these low-statted, high-questing characters.
But the question of the day is, can you get to 5? Mo needs to get to at least 5, 6 ink before he can start to put together some of those more dynamic plays of the Elsas and the Diablo and all those types of things. You need to get there. As we are going to shift that Diablo now, I think you'll be able to send a challenge in, but probably not even worth it. You have to figure out a way to get this Daisy off the board effectively.
Yeah, I imagine this is just going to be a quest, but the bibbidi-bobbidi-boo being sent to the discard to shift this Diablo, you do not pay any ink if you are shifting a Diablo. It is merely the cost of discarding an action, and there are actions aplenty in this deck, lots of discard, and of course that bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, and Mo will now draw every time Zach does. So passing over, we're going to ready, set, draw, and wasting no time in sending Daisy and Simba on another quest. Are we going to see the LeFou this turn?
The speed of these quests coming in from Mr. Bivens, you can already tell he knows exactly what he's trying to do. He's going to get these things exactly just super quick, get him down, get him exerted. I'd love to see this Simba get readied right now to kind of keep another potential 3 lore coming in, because on that 3rd ink, I don't think maybe, is there pull the levers? I think he has some levers in there. Maybe it might be worth taking a Super Tempo turn off and getting that Simba off the board to protect you from that 3 lore, because you're already at 7 and we're on turn number 2.
We gas. Yeah, there are 4 copies of pull the lever and 3 copies of that wrong lever. So we do have options to hopefully give us good tempo, remove opposing threats from the board. Bivens deciding what he wants to ink here. Currently looking at the Super Goof, who is going to go into the inkwell, taking us up to 3 ink. Perhaps we're going to see a Piglet and a 1-drop here, or a LeFou and a 1-drop. Zach Bivens actually renowned as a bit of a Piglet hater.
I know.
But mate, I think it was all a trick. I think it was just to get people to not play Piglets, and now he's with the Simbas, he's running 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I spoke to him about that. When I saw those Piglets, and I was like, I'm so disappointed. 4 Piglets, no Nala. That is heresy, I would say.
He was the villain all along in disguise. You love to see it.
It's been a long time of just false information until now it's time to hit the gas pedal and really get into that full card pool. So I think it's got to be clear to Simba almost immediately, as this Piglet is now representing a true threat, but we get the Hidden Cove.
That's
and
pretty good.
Base boost this Diablo strong enough to clear this Daisy, and that is 1 threat removed. But there's so much lore activity on this board.
Yeah, this Diablo being a 1-2 evasive with Challenger 2, but the Hidden Cove giving +1 strength and willpower to any character who is inside the cove. So we're able to make a nice challenge into that Daisy, only taking 1 damage, and then the Diablo able to remove this Simba, leaving just the Piglet and the Moana. This Moana being a 3/2 1-cost character quest for 1, but she can't challenge unless you have a captain character in play. But wouldn't you believe it, JD? That Piglet Pooh Pirate captain, the clue's in the name here, really. He is indeed a captain. So we're going to quest away, already jumping up to, is that 11 lore? Is that
11?
Yep, and the Simba comes down. We are off to the races.
Oh, and the LeFou comes in. LeFou able to ready that Pooh Piglet Pirate captain and giving you another potential 3 lore. If you guys don't know, if you have more than 2 characters on the board, he quests for 3, and that is impressive. So we are at that critical juncture. No, I'm sorry, we still have 1 more ink away from that critical juncture of 5 ink, and like I said, this deck is just too fast.
That might be too late. Zach Bivens is clearly not paid by the hour. He's clearly here just to get the job done, and you can't blame him for that. Mo realizing he's in a really tricky position here. Obviously, this deck wants to take the time to discard the opponent's hand, accumulate resources via the Prince John, but Zach Bivens not really allowing enough time for that to be a viable strategy. How many cards does he have left in his hand?
I can't say. I think it might be.
Is it 0?
He might be holding on to none by now. He could completely gas the hand just to get the board down. He might have some. I can't tell.
We'll find out shortly.
We'll see. Because
definitely 4 ink
over there, kind of off screen a bit.
Possibly.
But definitely 4 ink. And this board, how much lore is he threatening right now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're not threatening game per se, but still putting a lot of pressure. The Diablo is going to make a trade into that Moana.
And I think you got to take it. Every bit of residual lore matters. As we do continue to get another draw with that Genie, you're going to have to get another draw with this Diablo, but is it going to be enough? Because every card off the top is representing a threat in this game, as a bodyguard would be immense here. If you can get that mini right now, or one of those darlings, or excuse me, one of those the princes, a darling deer, something to protect these characters, I think that's going to be a real problem for Mo to get through effectively. Another LeFou would also be very insane.
Yeah,
2 questions off the top as well.
100%. Yeah, this Darling Deer, I think, is a really interesting addition to Amber. Generally, it's the Amethyst decks that have the lore reach, or things like Pirate's Life and Ruby. Amber now having this character that when she comes down, she gives +2 lore to another character. And there's the Prince you were talking about, JD.
He's on the board. He's able to protect these characters, and I don't think maybe you can do some mathematics and get those characters to the hidden cove. But is it going to be enough to be able to clear the Prince and then clear the rest of the characters? Because you have to lose everyone right now, except for the LeFou. If you can leave him, you still have one more lord that you have to worry about. But you got to get the Piglet, you got to get the Simba, and you got to get through this Prince. Can you do it?
You've got to do an awful lot, JD, and we've got to worry about the Elsa is one thing that can come down with Rush to help out with that, and don't forget there are 4 copies of Pull the Lever, which may be a necessity, because Zach is at 18 lore with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lore on board. This Genie and Diablo will both be able to, well, to be fair, we've got to go through the Prince first, so
we have to,
we can't unless we've...
you can wrong lever the Prince.
We can wrong lever the Prince, that's and then I think the Piglet is absolutely... the Piglet and the Simba both got to go, JD. They got to go.
That's the line. I think if you have that wrong lever, you wrong lever the Prince, you get the Diablo into the hidden cove, you send the Diablo into the Simba. This is also quite good. You got the bodyguard. Oh, so we do get the challenge in on the bodyguard. A little slight missequence coming in from Mo there. I'm sure he wants to take that one back.
Yep, so the Cricky coming down, giving +3 strength to all characters. Mo instinctively wanting to send the Diablo into the Simba to draw a card, but this bodyguard is indeed there, so that won't do it. Where I think we took it out courtesy of the Diablo. This Prince obviously having 0 strength, and then we are able to answer the Simba, and that's a pretty good tempo turn. Mo taking back some control of the board. Can he remove this LeFou? Do we have Darling Deer? That's game if we have Darling Deer.
I don't think he has Darling Deer. He has Jim Deer in the deck, so we don't have Darling Deer.
This is another way of doing it.
Gloid orange. Off the top.
And it's like I said, it's all gas, no brakes with it. This is a new racer who on play, you gain 1 lore and your opponent loses a lore, and that's it. Zach Bivens takes game 1 of the final top 8 game at the World Championship.
The Gloid, you've been gloided here at the top. I'm certain that was not on anyone's punch card. Let's
swap this, JD. I want to see this.
Get in there, man.
Let's have a look. I want to see what Zip Bivens has got going on. Okay, there's no Darling Deer, just the Jim Deer. But still an interesting card, but yeah, what is the name? It's Gloid Orange Boar, fierce competitor. So yeah, there's some uninteractive lore gain, and of course the Super Goose we know. So to be fair, there were quite good odds there to find something to get us over the line.
There was so much. You had a lot of different options to get to there. You had another bodyguard you could go through. You had some answers, but Mo was so very close to turning that corner and getting into a nice comfortable position. That Cricky, we missed that one. That was a great way to break up that board. Base boosting all of your characters, increasing them, giving them all +3 strength for that turn on play. So that was a dynamic turn. And if he could have just stabilized a little bit more, he could have turned around a bit sooner. But that is probably one of the worst matchups that you could see, and you definitely didn't want to put that into your Ruby Sapphire match, which Mo is getting into now.
These are the 2 lists for now. We've got Ruby Sapphire versus Amethyst Steel. So Zach Bivens on the deck that he calls his favorite deck. This is absolutely an in combination that he has played quite religiously throughout the Disney Lorcana season. So he's bound to feel very confident on it, but there can be a couple of different types of Amethyst Steel lists. So I'll talk us through this, and then JD, hopefully you can take us through the Ruby Sapphire list as well. So on Bivens' side of the board, we're seeing 4 copies of Palace Guard, Spectral Sentry, who is an illusion with that vanish keyword. If targeted by an action, then immediately banished, but if they don't have actions, then this Palace Guard can certainly get a few lore at the beginning of the game. We've got things like White Rose and Goats for that lore gain, and we're playing some Magic Brooms. We've got Cobras for the lore gain. There are Merlin Rabbits in here. Are there Docks? I'm not seeing any Docks. Okay, so we are not a Doc Dot build. We are a Merlin Rabbit build with 4 copies of, and then along came Zeus. This Thunderbolt.
That's it. We didn't practice that. Okay,
We didn't.
That was natural. But looking at Mo's deck, So again, as we've been stating all day, is that there are typically two types of the Ruby and Sapphire deck. One is going to be more of the Manor Shark deck, and the other is going to be more of the items deck. I personally like the items deck, and that is what Mo is going to be playing today. But note, he does have 2 Be Prepared in the deck, 4 Workshop, 4 Popsicle, 4 Sail, 4 everything all the way down to going to be 4 Sapphire Coil. I don't think there is a Fishbone Quill. Oh, there are 3 Fishbone Quills in the deck, but only 1 Hideaway. So this game, again, Mo is going to have to assume the role of that control type player. Get this thing into the late game as effectively as possible. You got to ramp on 2.
Yep.
You got to hit your markers. You got to manage those workshops, and you got to try to stabilize for as long as you can, because Mr. Bivens can race out again, and he can take over. He can turn the corner relatively quickly.
You're absolutely right. And these Amethyst Steel decks, I think it's important to highlight the differences. If you're playing things like docks, then it tends to be the Amethyst Steel is always aggressive, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a dock build, then you're hopefully going through as much of your hand as possible, playing it all out. It's super aggro strategy. But if we're playing Merlin Rabbits, that says that we care a bit more about having an element of control to the game ourselves. I mentioned there are 4 copies of Along Came Zeus and 4 copies of Strength of a Raging Fire to help us with that control. Obviously, you mentioned the Ruby Sapphire list takes its time to set up, draw a lot of cards, build up items, and Bivens is really going to be incentivized here to finish the game as quickly as possible. But JD, I have one question for you. Well, not a question, but I want to get your reaction to something.
Let's hear it.
There is one card in this Amethyst Steel deck, which is just a one-of. Audience, try and guess in chat right now. I'm going to give you about 10-ish seconds.
I know what
in this Amethyst Steel deck, what card do you think is a one-off? I don't think you're going to get it. I'm going to spend a few more seconds just wasting time. Get your predictions in.
I know
JD,
what it
do
is.
you know the answer?
I know the answer, and I was just as shocked as you are, Baker. But that is why Mr. Bivens is in this position, because you have to bypass conventional wisdom a lot of time. One of Pete, Games Referee, is in the deck.
You've nailed it.
In the deck.
Only one copy of what people see as one of the strongest cards. One of the reasons, well, there's many reasons to play Steel, let's be honest, but this is one of the very good ones. Pete, Games Referee, which shuts down actions for a full round, and only one copy of this in Zach's deck, although it is worth mentioning, we have Amethyst cards like Fox and Snake, so just because there's only one copy doesn't mean we will only see one effect of Blow the Whistle this game.
Absolutely. And the thing I also like about this Ruby Sapphire deck, especially with one Pete being known, this deck can become very inevitable.
Yeah.
But one thing about the Amethyst Steel deck is it can mark and bypass some of that inevitability by the Giant Cobra, of which he has 4. And he also has goats. He also has some roses. So once you get to that point and they start controlling the board with those never-ending board wipes, you can put down Gain and Lore before that character is banished. So I'm interested to see how this thing starts off. I'm trying to see if Mo can turn the corner, and I'm trying to see how this thing ends, because it can go either way. This is a great matchup, and I hope you guys at home are enjoying this. This is the final round of the quarterfinals. This is the Disney Lorcana Challenge World Championship. So make sure you're locked in and active and laser focused. Seat back is up and upright and locked.
JD, how could I not be locked in when sat next to a gentleman such as yourself? I am under the jail at this point. But yeah, I think this is a beautiful story as well. Zach Bivens and Mo both bringing their families to Disney World to share this experience. My understanding is they've both been here for a few days before the event to share that time with the family, but just both incredible human beings. But let's get into the match. It is going to be Mo Shamblin on the play. If you're only just joining us, you've missed a lot for a start, but thank you for being here. And we only see the turn 1 ink visions and pass from Mo Shamblin. No ice cream.
No popsicle for Mo this time, but he does have that 2-cost ramp in the form of Tipo Growing Sun, and I have a little bit of beef with Tipo. We're not going to talk about that here in the Disney World Championship, but, you know, Tipo Growing Sun is in hand, typically coming down on 2 to accelerate your ink a little bit is what your deck's trying to do, going from 2 to 4. As Tipo is being sent down, what card are we putting down? Maybe one of those high cost uninkables? It's going to be the Sisu heading down to the Inkwell.
Yeah, I think there are 4 in the deck, I would assume, anyway. Can you get confirmation on that?
Yes, there are 4 of the large Sisu Empowering Sibling, and 2 of the smaller Sisu.
All right, excellent. And to be fair, even the smaller Sisu in combination with that Sapphire Coil can take out an awful lot. This is not a bad-looking hand for Zach here. A lot of Inkables. And what's our turn 2 drop? We do have that Calhoun, so that will check this Tipo from getting any additional lore. Generally, Tipo only really here to help us ramp, although if you're against those aggressive decks and you see things like, I don't know, like a Lilo or something, then the Tipo is super good to have as a body.
Absolutely, and I know in this matchup you love to see that Smee Bumbly mate come in on 2, and typically he can go for maybe 2, maybe 4 lore in that early game, and this Tipo also can get a couple of cheeky quests in too early to help, and then when you close out with that Tamatoa Diamond, it makes it that much easier.
Yeah, 100%. We do see the Scrooge McDuck, resourceful miser, making his way onto the board. Not able to play it for free just yet because we don't have 4 items in play. Scrooge does love to be played for free, but Mo Shamblin more than willing to pay the 4 and hopefully find an item from the top 4 cards of the deck. Moving over to Bivens, taking a moment, the signature fist on the cheek and the little motion of the hand, just thinking through what is the correct line here, making sure he's staying aware of Mo Shamblin's possibilities. And this is the thing as well, right? Even if you are not playing a certain ink combination this weekend, if you're a world-class player,
yeah,
you need to know how they all work,
for sure,
right?
for
Like
sure,
you might be known for a certain deck, but it doesn't mean that that's all you can do, right? And I bet these players have been testing with everything leading up to this event.
I don't think so. I think they just play their one deck and they just turn it off. I'm kidding. I guarantee you all of these players know how to play these decks just as good as the next player. And I'm certain I've seen Zach Bivens in other tournaments, and he's been playing a lot of different strategies, maybe trying to throw people off the scent. I saw him on this very same build that Mo Shamblin was playing just to better learn the lines of play against decks that you will potentially be facing. So I think that's a nice heads-up strategy. We get in the White Rose, gaining another residual lore, keeping that Calhoun up and active, electing not to quest in fear of a Scrooge rebuttal, as we will put down the Tamatoa in the workshop. It's set up. Tell me about this card, Baker.
This Maurice's workshop, the engine that is keeping Ruby Sapphire items going. It's a 3-cost uninkable. Whenever you play an item, you may pay an additional ink to draw a card. So basically, all the items in Mo's deck now represent an extra card draw, as long as he's got an extra ink to pay for it. And Porpoisicle can be drawing you 2 cards. And this sure adds up, right? Especially if you've got multiple workshops on the board. This is exactly what you want to see in the early part of the game. But Zach coming, here I come, as the GOAT comes down on the board. You're going to gain 1 lore. These Amethyst cards having a lot of residual lore, as you like to put it, JD. And now we're going to see strength of a raging duck to send that Scrooge McDuck right back to the lore book.
I love it. And Maurice's Workshop is one of those cards, when I'm playing in this matchup, when that card comes down, now it's time to get real. You got to lock in. You need to win this game quickly, because that is how you keep that advantage engine going. Because if you don't have that workshop set up, you will indefinitely run out of cards, run out of resources. That's how you do it. So now the workshop set up, I'm sure Mr. Bivens sees that, starts to get these glimmers going as we're going to sing that strength onto that Scrooge. So now Mo needs to continue to elevate the game plan. Let's see what we got there. We still got that vision of the future. Is it time to vision up here, or is it time to get some of those coils established?
I mean, this is, I don't think we've inked this turn, so we are only 1 turn away from being able to play that dreaded Be Prepared, which is certainly something that Zach needs to bear in mind. Only 1 copy of the Pete in the deck, as we already mentioned, to try and shut off those actions. Mo going to ink that vision of the future, not looking for a prophecy at this moment in time. Instead, it is going to be the Maui Hero to All, and an enchanted one at that. Going to come down that rush keyword, taking out Calhoun, and then we're going to eat some ice cream. Ice cream can heal all injuries, apparently.
And Growing Boy is going to sit behind his good friend Maui and get a nice little quest in on the side. Imagine Pete here. Imagine that one of Pete stopping this Be Prepared turn, even though I don't think you're in the range where you just have to play it.
No.
You want to get the most value out of those Be Prepared as possible.
You're right.
But there is no Be Prepared. You do have another White Rose in hand along with that Giant Cobra, and that along came Zeus. So maybe you can even take a turn off, get that Maui off the board, and then start keeping these glimmers going, and then get another White Rose up. What do you think, Baker?
100%. You've always got to respect the uninteractive lore game potential. We saw that in game 1 with the Racer coming down to get that final lore, and Zach appears to enjoy his uninteractable lore gain. It served him very well so far. And this Palace Guard, the Spectral Sentry, still just sitting there. Of course, not a lot of actions that target in the Ruby Sapphire list. Obviously, there's things like Be Prepared, but this Palace Guard getting away with a whole lot. I also want to bring attention to 1 more card in Bivens' list, which not really for this matchup. 3 copies of Fire the Cannons, 1 cost uninkable to do 2 damage. Obviously, great into the aggressive decks, targeting down a Lilo, making a Wish, a Diablo, things like that. Not many characters in Mo's deck that are really going to fall to it. Of course, the T-Bow, but maybe we see play GOAT and then Cannon's our own GOAT for victory.
That is a line that's typically not going to be great here, but I love that play that Zach comes in and just uses that GOAT to challenge the Maui instead of singing the song. GOAT will gain that additional lore, and you can keep that Zeus for something a little bit more problematic that could befall you later on.
I super respect that, because the GOAT able to finish off the Maui, whereas if he hadn't done that, the Mo would have been able to go into the White Rose only taking 3 damage and would have got essentially a 3-for-1 out of this Maui, which already took out one Calhoun. So I super respect Zach identifying that and just deciding, hey, let's just take the goat into the Maui now, and then my White Roses may survive a little bit longer. We're going to play Sapphire Coil, and I believe an extra card was drawn for the workshop.
Yep, so he does have another item that he can set up another coil, so now things are getting really real. Before they were just fake real, now they're really real, as it does appear, if you're looking at the screen, you're like, well, Zach's at 9 and Mo's at 1. Certainly Zach's going to win, but I'm telling you, if you're not at 19, if you're not at 20, you might as well be at 0, because this deck can turn around so extremely fast. And those double coil workshop setup, it is a misery to deal with, as every time you ink, you'll be able to reduce your characters by a total of 4 now. And then you can bring in those Sisus, those Brawls, and then continue to clear the board over and over and over again. It is repulsive.
JD, over the course of the European season, I casted 3 games where I saw them go from 0 to 20 or more in one turn. So you're absolutely right to bring that up if you're newer to the game. Do not think this is over yet. This Ruby Sapphire deck, the way it wants to work, we already talked about the Maurice's Workshop and how that's going to help us accumulate cards and play a lot of items. But Baker, why do we want to play a lot of items? The reason is a very shiny reason at that. The Tamatoa, who gets an extra lore for every item on the board, and of course that lucky dime, which allows you to gain lore equal to the lore on a character. So a lot of potential here to just build up a large item package, throw down the Tamatoa, get that dime down, and then just threaten game immediately. But Zach threatening his own uninteractive lore game, this time with a giant Cobra, another illusion, JD.
And he will gain 2 lore, and just by not singing that Zeus, Zach having the foresight of being able to put that Cobra down, realizing that Zeus may not be the best card in this matchup, having a quality discard, uninkable, to continue getting some value from that giant Cobra. I'm certain that there's a card that say, discard this card, gain 2 lore. You probably play it in this situation, and you don't have to have that type of card in the matchup where it's not going to be suited for you. So heads up decision coming in from Zach Bivens, as Tipo is going to get a nice little quest in. Typically, everyone prepare, because our teeth and ambition may be bared.
They may well be. We shall see. That was unintentional. We're going to win Grandma Tata, the Keeper of Ancient Stories, and here we have it. We're going to exert 7 ink for Be Prepared.
I love
JD, love it. You join me, buddy.
Our teeth and ambitions are better. We can work it in next time. Next time, we'll shop it around. There
you nailed it, mate. I'm cooked. I had a good season. We had a good run.
No. Irreplaceable. Okay.
But yeah, be prepared if you're new to that. We got a little cameo there. Be prepared if you're newer to the game. 7 cost uninkable. Banish all characters. Pretty simple.
I hope.
Reading the card. I've been informed that reading the card explains the card.
And I'm telling you right now,
community believe this.
When rotation happens, we need it to come back. Okay, come on, listen to me now.
I am cooked.
I'll use all my influence I can to get this card back into the game, because it does a lot of work. As this Merlin Rabbit is up, if he's going to be able to draw cards, so this is pushing you into that late game that we talked about, gaining more resources. He's going to be able to quest. If this Merlin Rabbit can get 1, get 2. Replace itself, get another reach card, get another White Rose, another Cobra. This could be what it takes to win. So being able to survive those board clears is one of the huge upsides of Amethyst Steel. And I'm surprised more players didn't bring Amethyst Steel to this unique tournament.
Well, Zach Bivens certainly not underestimating it, but playing it a lot of the season. But this is the breath of air that Mo wants, right? He's been able to clear the board. There is a rabbit and 2 cards in Zach's hand. And, of course, this rabbit can represent 1 more card draw when it's banished, or even more if we can bounce it back to our hand. But this is absolutely the turn that Mo needed to get a breath of fresh air and start to apply pressure to the board in his own way, with Zach probably at the least resources he's been at throughout this game so far.
And that's one of the huge downsides of Vision of the Future, though, because it makes you make a painful decision. You have to think about what cards you put into the bottom of your deck, and you had to hang on to that Brawl, sending the big Tamatoa and the medium Tamatoa to the bottom of the deck. You'll probably never see those cards again until the game is coming to a screeching halt, as the Magic Broom is going to come on through, and the Bumbling Mate. Ooh. So you're all in, all gas again, no breaks, as Merlin gets that quest in that we talked about earlier. He went for 1. Can he go for 2? Bumbling Mate is representing 2, as this game is starting to pick up. Can Mo stabilize and stop the aggression?
Is there a Maui in hand? I think there is, yeah. This is going to be tempting because you want to get rid of this rabbit. You've got to banish the rabbits, right? Yes, it's drawing 1 card when you banish it, but if you don't and you give Zach a chance to bounce it, then that's already representing at least 1 more card and at least 2 more if he plays it, or 3 more if he plays it again. It can really get carried away, JD. So unless, Mo will know how to pilot this deck much better than me, but I'd be tempted to remove this rabbit here.
Shout out to my good friend Luke. DLC champion. He tells me if you see
the Wizards.
The Wizard. Shout out to him. He says if you see a rabbit, it's on site. You got to get it gone.
Yeah.
Okay, because he's just going to be hippity hoppity bouncing all around the town. You will give your opponent that card, but when you start getting those snakes in and those foxes in, you start recycling. It just becomes super obnoxious. So take them out when you can.
I played a game against Kendall Badet in Germany where he dragon fired my rabbit, and people around were like, "Really?" He was like, "You gotta banish the rabbits, man. They gotta go.
They gotta go." I mean, it's a hard thing to do sometimes, but he'll just sit there and continue to quest. And then when he's going up, down, bounce all around, it feels so much worse than whatever you were trying to play around in the first place. As we have another piece of passive lore game, the right rose is down, and this is looking really good for Mr. Bivens as Mo double arms on the table, staring down this board. You're going to have to start getting into clear phase as effectively as possible right now, as I can't quite hear the conversation as they're looking and thinking and talking, maybe trying to psych the other person out.
I think that to me as a cold read looks like Mo said something along the lines of, well, this sucks.
I just might not have it, as Mr. Bivens cool as a cucumber, both hands underneath the table. I love to see that. A little bit of
see that.
And not on the head, feeling quite comfortable as double finger crack. Do you got it?
I feel the need to mention, JD, in this Ruby Sapphire list, no Pirates Life. Again, not a huge surprise. You generally see that in the Shark builds, but I just did want to mention that we don't have that as a potential option to get Zach a bit lower in lore, only at 16 lore, and we know there are goats, there are white roses, there are giant cobras. This is a lot of high pressure for Mo. Zach Bivens already one game up. This is the last top 8 game of the World Championship before we proceed to the semi-finals. Mo has had an incredible season, an incredible championship, and he finds himself one game down against Zach Bivens at 16 lore. Can he mount the comeback?
This is a great start. We have that Tamatoa happy as a clown, or excuse me, so shiny, Mr. Bling Bling. And you have the lucky dime now in hand, 2 of them. So one of them, I think that is a good way. If you're going to turn this thing around, this is a good way to do it. You need to do it fast. You need to hope there is no giant cobra in hand right now, or this thing is not quite over just yet. As you're kind of hanging out at the 4 ink, you can't really do too many dynamic plays, but the big crab is on board. Will that be game? How much is that? If he can get a quest off.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the Tamatoa has a lore itself, so that's 7. And assumedly we would play the lucky dime, so that's going to make it 8. So that could get us up to 11. Perhaps we can play a couple more items.
We quest, get another item. Oh, this could. You need nothing.
If you quest first, then you could absolutely get another item to throw down the lucky dimes.
With Tamatoa, yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If it quests first, times 2 to 16. I'm capping at 19 from
19, and Maui cannot quest. So
unless we can play another item on top of that, then we can get to 20. So this is what we were talking about, guys. It's not over until we're at 20 lore, and Mo has the tools to do that. Zach Bivens going to go on a quest with the White Rose, taking us up to 17. What do we have in hand? There are some friends, cannons. We have. This is what I mean. He had 2 cards in his hand, and now this rabbit has just helped us just build those resources.
And he doesn't have enough removal to get through Tamatoa. He is a 5/8. So we have the Zeus and we have the Fire to Cannons. That's not going to be enough, as White Rose is going to be played to the field, bringing up to 18. This is game on board for you, but is that going to be enough? Can Mo get it done this turn? There's lines of play. It is open. This game could be it.
Mo could finish it this turn. It just depends on how many items he can get down.
Yeah, this could be it, as I think Mr. Bivens has to understand. He knows the situation probably as well as anyone could, as he's thinking right now of what he can do. You're kind of getting, what do you have in hand? You got the Fire, you got the Zeus, you got the Friends. Maybe thinking inking Friends?
Only at 4 ink. Generally, these Amethyst Steel decks don't need to ink to that high of an amount. 4 is a pretty comfortable number. It means you can play absolutely anything in the deck. We are going to see that Friends ink, though, as you predicted, JD, leaving us with 2 cards in hand. We're just going to pass. So can Mo Shamblin put the combination of cards together here to go from 3 to 20 in a single turn? Let's see it. Let's get it.
Getting Tamatoa to quest is a huge mission. We have the workshop in hand. Mathematics, how much ink is available? How much ink do you have? Because you're going to need 9. So we're setting that 9 to the side almost immediately, because that's going to be your dime and activation. You're going to need your dime act 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There it is. You need to ink. You can play that workshop. What would that do? What would that do? Workshop quest. You won't have enough. You don't have a fit. Will that be enough? Doug, Lucky Dime has been deployed.
Okay, so we've paid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for the dime.
He's got the Vitalis Sphere.
Okay, this could do it. We've got 2 ink left.
Oh, he's
being very careful with this map here, right? Because this is very intricate. So bear with us, grr.
And there is the quest. Huge quest coming in from
4, 5,
Tamatoa.
6,
Bling
7,
bling.
8, 9. Yep.
9 gets you up to 12.
Yep, 8 items and then 1 lore already
Lucky
on there. And that's it. And that's it. Mo Shaolin takes game 2, and we are proceeding to a game 3 in the World Championship.
We talked about it, and it happened, Baker, just like that. As Zach Bivens did everything he could, trying to get this thing over as quickly as possible, but you just couldn't stop it. And the big crab against Steel, he can survive. There's not a lot of clean answers to that character in Mr. Bivens' deck. And if he had one more fire to cannons, we did talk about that. You could have maybe got a Zeus off and then a double fire to cannons, and that could have been enough to put the Kamatoa down. But when he quested, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, and to be fair, he only had 4 ink, and these White Roses only 3 cost characters, so we wouldn't have even been able to sing Zeus. So I don't think there was actually an out that turn to be able to do both.
Oh, that's right. He was going to 5. He had to
if we had more ink, then you're absolutely right, JD. That would have been an answer, but I don't think we had it there at all. Not if we can't sing Zeus, which unfortunately we couldn't. So we are moving to game 3. Zach Bivens, having lost that game, will have to stick to the Amethyst Steel deck. Already won with Amber Ruby. Emerald Sapphire has been benched, and we're seeing the 2 pet decks against each other.
Look at that. What a storyline. What a storyline. And I'm trying to tell you, we have 2 fan favorites of the community. I like to call them the darlings of the community, the princesses of the community, the people's champions, okay? Both of these players can fill that role. This is for the People's Championship title.
Absolutely.
Both players at the moment that they want to be doing their thing with their deck, okay? I'm just disappointed there's not any Jiminy Crickets in Bivens.
Oh, Bivens, yeah, certainly renowned for playing the, it was set 2, I believe, Jiminy Cricket, where when you play him, you can draw a card if you have a Pinocchio in board. Wasn't playing any copies of Pinocchio, just using it for that evasive keyword. But yeah, Bivens and Mo, absolute fan favorites. Do you smell what the Bivens is? This is like Austin Rock.
Yeah, dude, I love it. I love it.
I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for that reference. I hope not.
No, they can't stop you. They can't stop you. No, I'm sure. Oh, we're just in. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
Leave? Okay. Guys, it's been great. It's been fun.
All right, so just imagine the nerves that these players are going through. I like to pretend they're not nervous, but I know the nerves are there. This is a game 3.
I think it's butterflies.
It's probably right. It's probably right. But this is it, man. This all that training and all that preparation and all that study comes down to this. You've gone through these play lines so many times. This is the last round of the quarterfinals. We're moving on to the semifinals shortly after this.
Absolutely.
And the prizes are so phenomenal. They are so abundant. And it's just a lot of pressure. I don't know if I'm built for this situation, and a lot of players aren't, Baker.
Oh, you're built different, JD. I don't think there's much in life that you're not built for, my friend. But you're absolutely right. What a story, taking us into our 3rd and final game where both players will get to play their pet decks that they perform with really well all season. But Bivens is on the play.
On the play. I love that. And I've seen there's a lot of play draw disparity, but we have seen a lot of players coming in on the draw being able to nullify that advantage. There is a substantial advantage, in my opinion, of being on the play versus on the draw, as Mo maybe getting a little bit of those pregame jitters out, kind of throws the deck around a little bit.
I've been there, mate. I've been there.
New sleeves, who this? New sleeves, who this? I love it. Getting that nice little shuffle in, a little bit of board manners, talking it through. He seems calm. I like the mustache.
I love the moustache.
The moustache.
It's the there's a moistache, shout out to Moyen, and a moustache.
Okay.
And look at that beautiful Lorcana bottle that our players were graced with their goodie bag for being part of the World Championship. Absolutely stunning.
Okay, so we're going to get down to business, okay? Is it time?
Let's get down to business.
Let's get down to
we ain't got no time to play around. What is this?
Get down to business or...
Guys, me and JD may have lost it, but we don't want it back.
We're back.
We don't want it back.
We're going to keep it. We're going to keep it. We're going to keep it. Lock back in. We're back in. Active. Here it is. The game is underway. The altar phase is commencing, and it looks like we are hanging on to that rabbit potentially.
On the play, absolutely. I think that's a great decision. We are, but they're 2 rabbits though. If there were 2, you'd probably throw 1 back. We're keeping hold of the Palace Guard, the Smee, and maybe a rabbit. There is
Is that the keep or the sand? Are you a play on the board, keep it sand, or you keep it in your hand? Which one do you do, Baker, when you play? On your altering, are you do you put them down and send them back to the deck, or you hold them in your hand?
To be honest, I am very much like I'll put a couple down and then I'll look and then I'll change my mind and then I'll shuffle and then I'll have a quick cry. That's generally my tradition going into the altar phase. A good cry and then that normally works out terribly.
Okay. I like to put mine on the board and then I put the ones in my hand into the deck. I think it tilts my opponent a little bit. I do.
So you're just going for maximum tilt.
Maximum. I'm trying to do everything I can.
The psychological lockout.
You have to infiltrate your opponent's mind. I think that's what you have to try to do.
So you started in the vents of the Ravensburger headquarters, and now you're trying to vent your way into the opponent's mind.
Absolutely.
Guys, I think JD may be a villain. I'm not going to lie, but we're going to proceed now. I love it. Good man.
I can't do it.
We're going to proceed into game 3, the last top 8 game of the World Championship.
Let's do it. The players are laser focused. We have a pretty tight curve coming in from Mr. Bivens, who's going to start with his magic broom on 1. Love to see it.
Yeah, the Illuminary Keeper, a 1-cost 1/2. When you play another character, you may banish this broom to draw a card. And worth noting, that ability always goes into the bag, though you have no choice in that matter. So you could play something else, like a Merlin Rabbit, for an example. You could draw from the rabbit, and then you can decide if you would like to pop your broom.
Absolutely.
It's good to know.
So now he does have a nice grip of 2-cost characters in hand. Maybe he might lean on this Calhoun to help aggress the board a bit, or will we go with the Bumbling Mate in order to try to get some of that questing power going? Are you cracking this broom here, or are you going to force your opponent to do that for you?
I think this might be quite a safe sit, to be honest, because we're only going into turn 2 for Mo. We don't need to worry about a rabbit or a crab. But if Bivens wants extra cards, he may pop it. He is going to make that decision, throw down the Calhoun, and immediately send away the broom. Is there anything that I've missed in that deck list that could have answered a turn 2 broom?
Yeah, a Shift Diablo. The Shift Bird comes in on top of that Diablo and cracks his nugget. You're going to lose that 1 card. So I think that is a correct crack, as we do have that Calhoun Marine Sergeant being able to check down this Diablo, because it won't be able to get those nice little quests in. But he does have the shift in hand. So is it time to shift? Are you shifting Diablo this early versus Steel? These are decisions that you have to make. These are the painful choices that you have to live with for the rest of your days here.
Pull the lever going into the Inkwell to play the 2-drop Diablo, 1/2 evasive with Challenger 2. We do have that fire. I think that just came off the top of the deck. Fire the Cannon's obviously a very sweet answer to the Diablo, who is such an incredible draw engine, but the stats ain't it, my friend. Only a 2/2, unless you can move to the Hidden Cove.
Which would be beautiful. So that's probably why those Fire the Cannons are in this deck, in order to accost those Diablos when they get shifted into the field of play as early, as often as you can. Get those things off before they can just run away with the game if they are unchecked.
Also worth noting that Mo is only playing 2 copies of Ursa Deceiver in this Emerald deck, which obviously Bivens playing Zeus's and Strengths. You know, sniping one of those could be huge, but only 2 copies in the deck overall.
That's interesting. I'd be interested to talk to these players and get an idea of their meta call and their meta preparations. Maybe you assumed that it would be this huge aggressive meta, and Ursula might not be the best card for that. Maybe that was some of the things that went into that thought process. But I think that's very interesting. We are going to get that sudden chill saying with the Prince John.
I see the silhouette of Cruella de Vil appearing at the door, which is going to force that Bivens to discard a card. And the greediest of them all means that we can draw a card as a result of that. And now we're going to go with the Shift Diablo, and we're going to sing another Sudden Chill. Encore, encore.
Oh, so that is a very, very dynamic turn coming in from Mo. If you guys don't know, if you have that Prince John up and active on the field of play, whenever card is discarded, you get to draw a card. So this card is somebody I don't want to see back in rotation. I'm just going to say that. That's it. That's it. I won't say anything else about it. That's it.
You can say it as much as you want to me, mate. I'm absolutely there with you.
Okay. He can get all the way up out of here, dude.
Prince John is, of course, a villain. I'm affectionate towards them, but
he can go. You've done enough, dude. You've done enough.
I will shed no tears. Let's put it that way.
The greediest of all, indeed. As you do get 2 cards from hand. So now Mr. Bivens might be in a bit of trouble here, as you need to get to some resource accumulation quickly, as the White Rose come down on 3 ink, gaining another piece of lore. You're getting up to 2. You got through that Diablo relatively easily, but can you continue to find some cards? This is where the rabbit's going to be quite huge. You can find one now.
And this is such a swing in resources, right? The Prince John allowing you to draw it. Like, you play Sudden Chill, your opponent discards. That's a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
But the Prince John is drawing you a card every time that happens. So those 2 Sudden Chills that Mo played last time basically traded for 2 cards in Bivens' hand, but were replaced by the greediest of them all. And this really gets carried away. You see Bivens had 3 or 4 cards in hand, left with only 1. And I hope it's a rabbit, let's put it that way. But that being said, JD Bivens might be incentivized to just empty the hand. Stop giving this Prince John the value.
That is a very cool coherent strategy in this matchup. Because if your opponent does get to a situation where they're drawing all of these discard cards, their deck becomes ineffective for the most part. It's just so many cards in their hand, but most of them are kind of unplayable. So I think that is a good strategy. In this deck, this Amethyst Steel deck, like you stated in the previous round, 4 ink is pretty much all you need to do all the plays that you want to get done. Unless he has Elsa, maybe you can get 1 more ink down to get that Elsa online. So I think this is
no Elsa's in the list.
No Elsa's in the list. So
no
yeah,
Elsa's.
you're fine here sitting at 2. But we'll take a quick sneak peek. And he
hits. That is huge. The Ursa the Deceiver, the 2-drop 1/3 quest for 1 with the ability. When you play this character, chosen opponent reveals their hand and discards a song card of your choice. So along came Zeus being hurled down from Mount Olympus into the storybook.
That we just talked about that, Ursula. You only have 2 copies of the card in hand, and there are not that many songs in Mr. Bivens' deck. And one of them just so happens to be there with the Prince John up, so you are going to get another huge swing of material as we got another song in hand. You got to play it just in case another Ursa comes down, so we get a nice little quest for 2 in.
Yeah, and we need to get the cards out of our hand as well to stop Prince John getting this value. But yeah, absolutely heartbreaking there for Bivens. And Mo, you got to think, is feeling a lot more confident at this point in the game.
Yeah, so we need to get some characters down. I would like to see maybe some more. We got to get to that rabbit. I think getting to the rabbit sooner than later, but that will, again, put you in that precarious situation of having another character in hand or another card in hand.
You really
rabbit might not even be that good.
You really want to, if you're going to do that, you want that rabbit to find you an inkable, so you can just put it straight into the inkwell, and then hopefully next turn you find a fox or a snake, and then you can start to build back up your hand. But we're going to see Ursula and the Elsa both going into this White Rose, taking her out. Elsa taking 3 damage in return. The Ursula back to the storybook. And Bivens left with just a single White Rose, only 6 lore. This is, if you're Bivens, if I'm Bivens, I'm worried. But in the mind of Bivens, I'm sure he's cool as a cucumber.
Right, he's been there before. I'm certain you've played through all of these lines. I know for a fact that Bivens always puts himself in the worst case scenarios in his training situations, where we talked about this offline before. He always sets up the worst situations for himself and try to play it through, and that's a great card to come off the top of the deck here.
Absolutely. Friends on the other side. Gonna be
I've got friends on the other side.
Okay, okay, all right. Yeah, I think that's you, my friend.
The cards, they tell. The past, the present, and the future has.
Brother, I need a Facilier cosplay on the double.
There it is. Just take 3.
But yeah, friends, a fantastic card. We were able to sing it with the White Rose, draw 2 cards, and then we were able to find the Giant Cobra, which was put down, discards a Strength for a Raging Fire for a 2 lore burst. So that was about as good as of a top deck as you could hope for from
Absolutely, Bivens. Absolutely. And you see that Lucifer that you spoke about earlier in the preset of the game is in hand right now. He does quest for 2, but right now he's going to get 0 value if you are to deploy that character right now. You do have that Diablo you can put onto the field of play just to have a questing card, or maybe set up a potential shift line coming off the top if needed, if you can maybe find some of your resources, because looking at it, Mo only has 2 cards in hand, and this Elsa cannot accost his board quite effectively right now.
Yeah, it's certainly not over. Mo, drawn so many cards off of this Prince John, but left with just 1 card in hand. And hey, Prince John is a fantastic draw engine, and questing for 2 is huge, but the stats ain't it, mate. And this Elsa obviously has a fantastic card, exerting a character on play and evasive, so can certainly sit there and tick away some lore, but overall not the most intimidating board in the world. So there is absolutely room for Bivens to come back here.
I think now you got to really start playing this tempo game as well. You have this Prince John. Will you continue to quest? Because I think Mr. Bivens is all in. Zach Bivens is all in on just questing. Character down, quest, rinse and repeat until your opponent does something. So they're kind of winning the lore race a bit, as we do have that Magic Broom in hand, thinking of deploying it here.
Yeah, Magic Broom was the card off of the top. We are going to pay 1 to put this down, questing up with the rest of our characters. But yeah, I like this, meaning next turn, if we are able to find a character, then we can quest that Broom first, then pop it, draw ourselves another card. So it is certainly not over. A really nice start from Mo, taking all of Bivens' resources away, but we still cooking, we still live.
It's not over. I ain't heard no bell, is what the cool kids are saying these days. It's never over until it's absolutely over, as I think it might be time to start getting loose and active with this Elsa and this Diablo to start clearing some of these quested characters off the board. You will lose both of these characters in the process, which stinks.
That point does come, though, right, where you have to identify, these aren't great challenges, but you're just sitting there questing away. You're going to win eventually. We find another Prince John, greediest of them all. Of course, both of them questing for 2, not offering much in terms of challenging, unless we can find, a Merlin Crab or a Cricky or something like that. But
yeah. And Mo's setting himself up for a beautiful Cricky here. I think that would clear this board relatively easily if you can find that. And he's also questing for 3. So that would be a brutal top deck. But can Zach continue to aggressively quest these characters until the game comes to an end? That's the race. That's the race. Cricky versus the world, as Mo is just trying to set up for that Cricky turn, it seems.
And I think Mo identifying here as well that we've reached the point where Zach's not going to have any cards in his hand. He's drawing and then he's playing and he's inking straight away. So Mo identifying, hey, my Prince Johns have got all the value they can. I need to start questing because Bivens is getting closer and closer. I need to be somewhat in that race too. We do see the Merlin Crab come down off the top of the deck. We're going to give Challenger and we're going to pop the Broom, draw ourselves another card. Hopefully not an uninkable song.
When is it time? When is it time to contest this board, though, Villain? In your mind,
right now.
Right now.
Right now. Right here.
Yeah,
right here. Right now. The giant Cobra going into that Prince John. Hey, you will never see me not take out a Prince John. Even if I could win that turn, I don't care. I'm getting rid of the Prince John.
It's personal. It's personal now at this point. It's definitely personal as you have that Merlin Crab. And the momentum is starting to turn. No pun intended. The momentum, there it is.
Pun intended.
Hey, pun
Let's be honest, pun intended.
There it is. As the Lucifer comes down, he rips.
No! And it was the Along Came Zeus as well. The last card you wanted to see off of that Illuminary Keeper. Wasn't able to ink it, wasn't able to play it. And this Prince John drawing an additional card for Mo. You got to think now he regrets questing with that Prince John on the previous turn.
Brutality. That seems like the odds of that happening have to be significantly low. Not grabbing an inkable card there, not grabbing a character you can play with that 1-cost ink. It is just insane. So terrible, but you know what? He's not rattled at all. He's not shaken. He is still calm as a cucumber as we get another quest in with that Prince John. Lucifer now representing another 2-lore quester. You're still trying to set yourself up. Maybe for Cricky still? I think Cricky's still quite decent here.
Oh, Cricky's obviously fantastic. I expect the Crab to be the one to... Oh, there's the go. Here I come. 4 ink spent. That's going to put us up to 12. I expect the Crab to take out this Prince John here. Again, Mo is at 9 lore, so Zach has to respect that to a degree. And if he ever does want to keep a card in his hand, these Prince Johns are going to absolutely put him off of that. So, yeah, taking 1 damage. I like the way doing that as well with that instead of the Cobra, because the Cobra, if you'd have taken out John, that leaves you with just 2 willpower and would allow for an easier challenge from Mo. Not that I'm expecting the Lucifer to challenge into it unless he has to.
Right. I think he's going to need that Lucifer to get powered up by someone before you just send him in. Or unless you just send him into this Merlin Crab right now. But we'll be singing "A Friend's on the Other Side." Okay, no more. I'm done. Okay, that's it.
No, don't be done. I think that needs to be your thing, JD.
Can I do? Hopefully it gets reprinted. Okay. Hopefully we get. This is another card I would love to see continue to stay as a very iconic card. Set 1. If you don't know, it's just very simple.
Chat, I need an edit of Friends with JD on the R. I expect that on the double. But yeah, Friends on the other side utilized by both players in this Amethyst versus Amethyst matchup. Drawing a couple of cards. The Elsa coming down. Going to remove that Merlin Crab, putting 2 damage on the Elsa. The Crab does have to give Challenger to something, but not really relevant.
2 damage. Why 2 damage there? Am I missing something? Why not 3?
No, you're not missing anything.
Okay.
That should absolutely be 3. I imagine in Mo's head, I've just done 2 damage. It's 2 strength on the Elsa, right? So
that is something that does happen. I'm certain. Shout out again to our wonderful judge staff. They are watching this thing diligently. I'm certain they're going to clean that up.
There you go.
There it is. Almost
they're on it. Shout out to our incredible judges. They're on it and fixed.
Absolutely, almost instantly. So just like you said, it is a very stressful moment. This has been a long day. They played so many games yesterday, so we are going to go ahead and use that GOAT to go ahead and clean up the rest of that Lucifer, and we are questing again. The tempo is leaning towards Zach, who is crawling out of this thing. Ain't heard no bell. White Rose is up. Goat representing another piece of lore. Any bounce, I think, is also going to prove to be a problem.
Yes, absolutely. Zach doing really well finding some of these uninteractive lore gains cards over the last few turns. The Cobra, then the Goat, then the White Rose. We're sitting at 15 lore. This Goat is going to represent 1 more lore when it's removed from the field, from the board. Mo with 4 cards in hand. What can we do to keep Bivens off of it?
And looking, which is what we talked about, looking at his hand, there's a Sudden Chill. There's a Prince John. Yeah. There's all these cards that really aren't doing much in this situation. I know he has that Cricky set up now. It's another Elsa is going to come on in, but Elsa can't really get through.
You would have to. Mo is going to have to double it. No, he's going to.
Oh, he's looking at the discard. He can double. Yeah, he can go after the Goat. He can go after.
But that was a pass there. I was like, what?
He's going to have to send 2 characters. He can clear the Goat, but then you could just put 2 damage on one, or you could just send both in. Granted, you will lose that second Elsa on that second challenge. So still a good, favorable exchange for Mr. Bivens in this situation.
I like the idea of this new Elsa that's just been played going into this GOAT. It will survive and be able to finish off the GOAT. We are going to see that there, putting 2 damage into GOAT to remove it, and that's going to be +1 lore for the Here I Come ability, and then 4 damage on the Elsa, meaning we are staying alive.
And we are going to... And we are going to
carry on. I will get in trouble.
we are just going to go ahead and get a little quest in with this other Elsa, and I don't hate that at all. As the Sudden Chill finds its way down to the Inkwell, probably won't get any more value for the remainder of this game. That card is inkable for whatever reason. Here it is. What is it? Off the top.
We're going up to 18 lore when we quest with both these characters. Yep, wasting no time in doing that. What do we find off the top?
What is it? What is it? What is it? It is a fire cannon.
Oh, okay.
The cannons to the left of me.
Fire the cannons, Mr. Smee.
As we get the cannons to remove that Elsa, and that is huge. What do we have now? You got to clear. You got to work. You have that Cricky. I think the Cricky's in hand, but is that going to be enough?
If we've got Cricky, we have to play. We have to remove one of these characters, and the Elsa cannot do it at the moment. And mentioned earlier that keeping only one damage on the Giant Cobra, that would have been very relevant here because Elsa would have been able to remove it. So Zach Bivens in a really good position to potentially take game on next turn, but we know we have the Cricky. It's going to have to happen. We throw down a Prince John. And a Bruno, that's another way to do it.
That's the other card. The other card was Bruno, and this will continue to give you a little bit of additional value. So just like that, I believe Mr. Bivens will go all the way up to 19 next turn, and that is a scary, scary spot. You have a lot of residual instant lore bursting characters. So these top decks are going to be critical. You guys are clear every single time.
The GOAT or White Rose off the top here is game. Cobra wouldn't be because you need to discard a card.
Wait, I think it's wrong lever. You can't do it. There's no way you can wrong lever, can you? There's no way.
Is there a pull the lever in the discard?
Oh.
If there is, then it goes to the bottom of the deck. So that
I don't think there is. We have to check that.
I know he inked one. Right, I think it was turn 1 he inked one.
What did he pitch with that Shift Diablo? Did he Shift Diablo this game, and what did he pitch?
I thought it was Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo.
Okay, we'll have to say, if there's a pull the lever there, you are on your way, but there's no way. Quick fan. Wait, what is that? What is that? Is that a pull? Is that a pull the lever?
I didn't see enough of it to feel confident in confirming.
We're playing it. It's got to be pull the lever if he's going to play it. There's no chance you send this White Rose back to hands. We ink that Cricky.
Well, no, you might, right? Even if it's only going back to hand, because otherwise a Rose or a GOAT off the top is game here. At least if you get rid of this Rose, yes, it's gaining another lore, but it can't quest. What is the card off the top?
Off the top.
Okay, it's not. I'm going to guess it's not lore gain, otherwise it would have been slammed down, JD.
Slammed it almost instantly. Oh, man, this is intense. This is intense. My palms are sweaty. On my sweater, I have a little bit of my mother's spaghetti there, Baker.
He's nervous.
And my knees are weak.
Palms are sweaty.
Yeah. And my arms
but on the surface, you do look calm and ready. To be fair, to give you credit.
My arms are quite heavy, though. As a matter of fact, if I don't say so myself. Okay.
You keep forgetting what you wrote down. We're gonna stop. We're gonna lock back in. What are we doing? What are we doing, JD?
I'm scared, man. I'm scared. What is the card?
We're just as anxious. Oh, okay, that's not fair. We're not as anxious, but we're feeling a percentage of it.
So hopefully you guys are enjoying this, because these are the intense moments that you can only find here at Disney Lorcana. So hopefully you guys are simulating or feeling this too, as we got Quest. It's got to be a character. What is it? It can't be Strength of Raging Fire, right? No chance.
That would have been what it's a Calhoun. Okay, we still need to remove this Calhoun. We've got a wrong lever, right?
We do have the wrong lever, so you will be able to stop that Calhoun.
And Elsa and Prince John could double into, so this wrong lever, and is that just 2 cards in hand, Lucifer and wrong lever?
Yeah, so you could, hold up now, so you could probably play the Lucifer, play the wrong lever. You have enough ink to do both. Lucifer quest for 2, that's 5. That brings you up to 15. Calhoun comes down. Do you get another quest in?
Yep,
either way, you have to play it. You have to clear this White Rose here, though.
No. Oh, there is a pull the lever in the discard. There you go. So Calhoun going to be sent to the bottom of the deck. Wrong lever! All the way to the bottom. And we have to double in here, otherwise it's game. Doesn't feel like a great trade, but it's necessary. What do we see off the top? We're looking for any uninteractive lore game. It's a crab. We're not there yet, JD.
Oh, my God. I thought it was a god. I saw the Merlin. I saw the crab. I was like, oh, my goodness. I'm just on the edge of my seat.
Guys, me and JD are practically cuddling at this point for moral support.
And there's
the handshake because he can't interact with the crab, and Zach Bivens goes onto the top 4.
Baker, what an amazing game, Baker.
And there's the hug. Let's give them that moment. This is beautiful. Oh, my God.
What an amazing game. That turn came out so fast with all the discard. I thought it was over, Baker. I thought it was absolutely over, but Mr. Bivens had to lock in and get on a whole new level and get it done. He's going to the semifinals.
What an incredible close game between two amazing Lorcana players and incredible human beings. Commiserations to Mo, who has had an amazing season, an amazing weekend, spent time with the family, got the best advice to stop losing, made it all the way to the top 8 of the World Championship. But we've got to take our hat off to Zach Bivens.
For sure.
I don't know if there are many people in the Lorcana community working harder than Zach Bivens. Absolutely astounding. What do you think, JD?
Exactly. Just to cap down on what you said there. On what you said there, Mo should walk around this venue with his head held high. He played this thing so well, and to get to this moment, to get to this point, the relentlessness, the perseverance, the never give up attitude.